Good morning, everyone, at the Berkeley Buddhist Temple. It is my wonderful honor to be able to share with you a very brief Dharma message on this Sunday morning. It's been a different challenge, hasn't it, lately? Life as we know it is completely different now, isn't it? What used to be just this occasional thing that we would do once in a while, like on Zoom and through video, has now become the new norm in our lives. And I'll tell you, for some people, it's been a difficult adjustment, but for me personally, it's actually been really good. Like, for example, I started this morning's Dharma message to you, and I already made a big mistake. And all I had to do was push stop, and I started over again, and nobody ever knew, except for the fact that I just told you all right now. But anyway, I hope you are all staying safe and healthy during this time. And I know we are in very unprecedented times right now. Normally at this time of year, it's the beginning of summer, right? And beginning of summer for many students, especially if you're in high school, usually marks a very joyous time when we get out of school and we get to look forward to having a great time over the next few months in the summer, enjoying wonderful activities and time with friends and all these wonderful things. But these are not normal times. Instead of the freedom and the joy, we feel very heavy burdens, don't we? The burdens of being sheltered in place for so many months now. 3 months now already, huh? It's been 3 months, very hard to believe. And if that wasn't enough, currently we are witnessing and even being a part of this huge fight for equality in our country. These huge issues are all coming together all at once and impacting all of us at the very same time. It can be overwhelming at times. It can be very difficult to try to deal with and handle. And at times it almost seems impossible for us to ever return to normal, right? As a matter of fact, this Sunday is Father's Day, right? I totally forgot it was Father's Day. I actually didn't even realize it was Father's Day until Reverend Kuwahara Sensei asked me to speak on this day, and I just looked at the calendar, and only then did I realize it's Father's Day. It's so hard to lose track of the days, isn't it? Each day blends into the next, and it's hard to keep track if you don't have somewhere to go and like your normal habits in place. It's really difficult to keep track of the days. So again, I looked and I said, wow, it's actually Father's Day this Sunday. And although we, our family, will not be able to freely share and enjoy the times as we normally would with our loved ones, and it's because my parents are a little bit older and they are actually in the category that is considered higher risk. So in the best interests of their health and their safety, we felt it was best to, not have contact with them. Sometimes I'll make sushi rolls at home. Some of you may know I used to own a restaurant, so I'll make fancy sushi rolls at home, but I'll just drop them off with my mask and deliver them, to the front door and just wave goodbye and leave. But we do, still Zoom and we Skype each other actually, and I try to check on them on the phone. So we still have a lot of contact in that way. But despite the fact that we will be unable to celebrate in our normal fashion with all of our family together and do all the normal things, despite that, I do want them to know that I still do expect a Father's Day gift, okay? You don't have to change that part of it. So anyway, okay. So instead of a normal Father's Day message this Sunday morning that I would normally deliver on a regular Sunday, I would like to ask you if it would be okay to share a little story with you. I just wanted to share a little story with you about something that happened to me. And this was several years ago. This is probably about 4 years ago, back in 2016. This happened to me. I won the lottery. Oh yeah, hard to believe. What am I doing here if I won the lottery, right? Well, I didn't win the grand prize, okay? But I did win a whopping $9. And since $9 wasn't quite enough money to quit my job and retire, I decided to cash it in and treat myself to a turkey sandwich, right? So, you go to the local grocery store because they have that little customer service section. And, I lined up in that customer service line, and I just happened to end up behind another man, and I saw his super lotto ticket in his hand too, right? So I just kind of started to engage him in conversation, right? So I said, "Hey, so you won the big one, didn't I?" With a little chuckle, right? And he turned around and he smiled back, and we kind of started talking, right? And we started talking about, how winning a bunch of money doesn't guarantee you happiness. And, we both agreed. We kept talking and we said, hey, if you're not happy now with where you are in your life, if you're not satisfied with who and what you are and what you have, winning a big bunch of pile of money isn't going to change the essence of that happiness, despite the fact that you think it will, despite the fact that you think, if only I had this, then I would be happy. If only I had more money, I would be able to do this and that, right? Of course you dream of those things when those are things that you don't have. And we also we kept conversing. We said, people just need to learn how to live within their own means a little bit better, have a little more savings, not overextend themselves, right? Not buy things they can't afford or live in a house they can't afford. And we had no idea that 4 short years later, we would be in this situation today. We had no idea how relevant that conversation was and how right we were. But overall, it was kind of cool. While we're waiting in line, we just kept talking, man. We just kept talking about life and just everything, kind of meaning of life. And it was just this wonderful conversation just in a little grocery store line, completely unexpected. And it was such a meaningful and heartfelt conversation with a, complete random stranger. And I watched him after he collected his $19 in winnings. We said goodbye to each other, and I watched him, walk back over to the door to the grocery store. And, I saw him, I think there was a lotto machine, how the machines are always kind of by the door. So I saw him stop off there, right? I cashed in my ticket and got my $9, and I started heading out the door as well. And as I walked past him, I said, "Hey man," I said, have a good day. And then instead of waving back, he stops me, right? And he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, yo," he goes, wait. And he goes, "Watch this right here." He goes, "Watch this right here." And I'm watching him on the Super Lotto machine. And I'm thinking, okay, he must have a special technique of how to win or something. I thought he was going to show me something like that. But instead what he did was he pushed the button and then a ticket came out. And then he just handed it to me and he goes, "Here you go right there." And he just gave me this lotto ticket. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal. Okay. It's just $1. It's $1 ticket. But I mean, it just took me completely by surprise. It just took me completely by surprise. It was the last thing that I expected from him. It was such a kind and unexpected gesture. It was just such a kind gesture. And I said, no, trying to be Nihonjin, right? "Oh, no. I cannot accept that. I cannot accept." But he kept insisting and he just wished me luck, And I remember taking it and I promised him, I said, "Hey, if I hit this big, I'm going to come find you and we're going to split this money, And he just looked at me and said, "Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." Big smile on his face. And he just said, "Hey, take it easy," and we shook hands and we parted ways, And I remember walking out of that grocery store that morning, and I had such a warm feeling in my heart. And as a matter of fact, in that brief moment, as I was walking to my car, my mind started to daydream of what it would be like if I actually won this grand prize with this ticket that this complete stranger bought me, And by the time I actually got back to the car and I sat down and I really started to just kind of think about what happened. I let it soak in and I just started to kind of reflect on what just happened in this couple 10, 20 minutes, And then I realized I already won. I already won the jackpot because I had received this deep feeling of kindness and connection that was gifted to me by a complete stranger. And, this gentleman, he was older than me, much older than me. He looked like he was probably in his late 60s or so. I'm sure he was kind of retired and he was in his late 60s. He was this tall and slender man, and he spoke with this very relaxed and soothing demeanor. And I remember he kind of had he favored one leg. He kind of had wasn't quite a limp, but he walked with a little bit of a hobble. And I remembered that. And he was African American. And I never even include his ethnicity when I share this story. I've shared this story before, and I never even thought to include his ethnicity because that wasn't the important part of the story. But today I feel that detail is important because of the state of our nation, because of the struggle, and because of the deeply, deeply rooted challenges that we are facing as a country to help set things right, to help speak up and to act out and to do things to make things right. And this simple yet uneventful story is a reminder of how easy it is to connect with someone that is not in your circle of friends. How easy it is to connect with someone that's not even your age or even your ethnic background. All it takes is a smile and an open mind and an open heart. And the people of this country must learn that regardless of the color of a person's skin, we all share similar dreams, struggles, hopes, and fears. We all feel pain and we all feel joy. And we all feel love and we all feel loss. There is no place in this world for prejudice, hatred, or discriminatory behavior towards people you don't know, especially if the only thing you know about them is the color of their skin. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo.